And let's go to Anchorage, Alaska now. That is where we find CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. And Nancy, thanks so much for being with us. Good to have you on the ground there. The big meeting between Trump and Putin now less than 24 hours away. What is the latest on how that's all going to play out?
Well, what we are told, Nancy, is that President Trump will arrive here in Anchorage. President Putin will arrive shortly thereafter, tomorrow. And they're going to be on an air base just outside of Anchorage, Alaska, not too far from where we're standing right now. That's where they're going to spend the day. First, they're going to meet one-on-one with only their interpreters present in the room. And then it'll broaden out to a working lunch that will include other dignitaries, their top advisors, as they try to hash out whether a ceasefire or some kind of peace deal is possible, whether President Putin is really serious about that. And then there will be a press conference. President Trump said today that if it goes well, if everything appears to be going smoothly, if he's pleased with what Putin has to say, then perhaps they'll do a press conference together. And if it doesn't go so well, he said that he will simply do a news conference on his own and then head back to Washington, D.C. And that's the big question, Nancy. Does President Trump get a sense from these meetings that Putin is really serious about making some concessions that will lead to a ceasefire? And if so, then they plan another meeting that includes Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky? Or does Trump determine, as many European leaders fear, that Putin is simply stringing him along and is all talk? And then President Trump said if that's the case, he'll wash his hands of it. He'll let the two countries continue fighting, and he'll head back to Washington.
A real sense of anything can happen in Alaska there. And also, Nancy, you spoke with a former U.S. intelligence official who specialized in Russian affairs about tomorrow's meeting. What did she have to say to you?
She said that there's a big concern that President Putin is simply trying to buy time by asking for this meeting, that he is worried that he is perhaps losing President Trump's favor and his respect based on things that President Trump has been saying in recent months, his growing frustration with the fact that Ukraine seems ready to make a ceasefire deal, but Russia doesn't, the fact that President Trump recently imposed massive tariffs on India because it buys Russian oil. So she said that what Putin may be trying to do here is get President Trump back on his side at a critical time. Take a listen.
One of the things that I really worry about going into this summit is that President Trump will be easily manipulated. I think we've seen from some of his recent public statements, issues about that suggest that he lacks a grasp of the issues that are on the table.
European leaders have expressed similar concerns. They'll be watching from the outside very closely tomorrow, Nancy.
A busy day ahead for you. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Nancy Cordes, thank you very much. In a programming note, we will have full coverage of the summit between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. John Dickerson will anchor special live coverage and the CBS Evening News from Anchorage, along with Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan, and that'll be live right here on CBS News.